Today, we're going to take a look at 5 ways to get wider mixes. Some really good tricks here. Let's go. So the first trick is to pan 2 reverbs left and right. Now you can use any reverbs of your choice, but here I'm using the Valhalla Vintage Verb and the Waves H reverb. You just need to ensure you are using 2 different types of reverb. For example, here I'm using a warm plate on the H reverb and I'm choosing an ambient setting on the Valhalla Vintage Verb. So both of these reverbs go on 2 separate buses, and what you're going to do is you're going to pan one hard left and then you're going to pan the other hard right, and this will create an amazing 3D sound. It sounds absolutely amazing. Give it a go. Next up is automating the width of various instruments. I like to have a more narrow sound in the verses, and then when the chorus hits, have a wider sound. So this is how you do it. So here I'm using the S1 imager, and it has a width slider, so you can see here the sound can go narrow or really wide. We're going to go into automation mode, and you want to select the S1 imager plugin and you want to click on width. And then I'm going to use the marquee tool within my DAW to highlight the instrument I want to make wider in the chorus. So now you can see that if I go back to the pointer tool, that when I move this automation up and down, I am now moving the width control. So that means that during the verses, the image is quite narrow, and then when the chorus hits, as you can see, that instrument gets wider, and it is a great effective trick. Number 3 is boosting the sides using mid-side EQ. This is really effective on pads. So use the surgical EQ plugin that has mid-side capabilities. Go to 5 kHz and apply a high shelf boost. You can go up to around 6 decibels. And what we're going to do is right click here, go down to stereo placement, and I'm going to click side. So I'm basically just boosting the sides of this sound at 5 kHz and above. And we can do the opposite and do a cut on the mids in the lower end, and this creates this lovely 3D sound. So give it a go. It's really easy to do. 4 is using both mono and stereo reverbs, again to show a difference between the verses and choruses. So select your reverb, put it on a bus as normal, and you want to change the image from stereo to mono like you do here in Logic, and then you want to duplicate that process, but this time put that reverb in stereo. So here we've got a mono reverb and a stereo reverb. So now we go into automation mode. We go to our reverb plugin and you want to click on power or bypass. Then we draw out our automation so that we have the mono reverb in the verses, and when the chorus hits, the stereo reverb comes in. This is really effective on things like vocals. That light and shade is really effective. And then number 5 is just simply pan the most full body sounds in your mix. So this would be things like your backing vocals, acoustic guitars, maybe electric guitars. They have a lot of mid-range in them, and by panning them to the left and the right, it makes those panning decisions more obvious, and so it makes the mix wider. I'm Aubrey Whitfield. Thanks for watching.